Hey, Motor Warriors. For my friends that have never been here, like my friends in the Philippines and other countries, this is a state called Kansas. Now, the further west I go in this state, the more rolling hills you start seeing, like on the left there. But when you first come in, it's fairly open and flat. But I'm getting into an area that's got more hills and more trees, and I'm hoping that I'm going north on this road, state route called 81. I'm not on Interstate 81. I'm on State Route 81. But I'm hoping that I get up here to find a shady spot, because it's triple-digit heat, and it's not as bad as it was yesterday. It's not as hot, and the wind is blowing today, but you know, every once in a while I'll get a good gust of wind to kind of rock me pretty hard. But yesterday it was blowing me all over the interstate when I was on the interstate yesterday, and man, it was dangerous. So I had to forget about my plans and just enjoy the ride instead of going for another IBA, Iron Butt Association ride. I was hoping to get my first actual bun burner 1500, and I would have probably been able to do it in 24 hours, or at least close, but the wind really slowed me down and knocked me all over the highway, the interstate, and it was higher in the heat index. It was triple digit like today, but hotter. So it's like, well, if I collapse from the heat, that ain't gonna be good. Or if I get blown off the road into a semi, almost had that happen. I was going all over the lane trying to keep it steady and even, but the wind, if you can see my hand, it'd be like you'd have to lean like this to stop from blowing. But then all of a sudden the wind had let go, and shoo, and you want to go flying off the other direction. So it's like back and forth like that. And then there was a semi, pulling double bottoms. That means they're hooked up to two trailers. And when he was going next to me, and he started kind of encroaching into my lane just a little. So I tried to give him some space and get over a little bit, but the wind was blowing me all over from his truck, both the trailers. And so I slowed down a little bit to let him just get up ahead. And right as he passed me, he must have had the second trailer must have been empty, because all of a sudden it slid right into the lane where I was riding. And if I'd have been there and that happened, it could have killed me. So it's like, yeah, okay, time to get off the interstate. So I did something I usually don't do, and I mean, I will if it's dangerous enough or it's hot enough or whatever. I'll get a motel, but usually on a long ride, I don't do that. I either keep on riding, or I'll set up a tent, or I'll get to my destination. But it kind of threw a monkey wrench, as we say here in America, into my plans. I strapped my gear down, but it looks like it's shifting, and I don't want to stop in this open area here where it's really hot, and if somebody's coming and not paying attention, I don't want them to hit me on the side of the road. So I'm hoping it holds up until I can get up here into some shade in the town. I haven't eaten lunch yet, and it's like going on 2 o'clock. Stop and get something to eat and cool down a little bit, retie this stuff, and try and hit it again. I was hoping to make it up towards the Custer area in South Dakota, but I've just been too hot and stuff, so I might end up finding a campground halfway between here and there and calling it quits for the day. Just wind and too much heat, and I'm already worn out. But anyway, this is Kansas. I wish I'd have turned the camera on when I first came in so you could get a comparison of what Kansas is. Now, don't be stupid. I'm on a motorcycle. Do not be stupid. Thank you. Big wave to you, buddy. Thank you for seeing me. I saw a thing on the news last night where some guy's going down the interstate, and he had a dash cam on, and he was talking to the passenger that he had with him, and they were like, They sound like they were from India and kind of looked like it too. And so he's riding along, and I don't know if he thinks the rules don't apply to him or what. There's a lot more, people like that nowadays. But he's on the interstate. On the interstate, he missed his turn. So he tried to do a U-turn right on the interstate. Cars are going, this is out west, people are going 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. And he tried to do a U-turn on the interstate just to go back on the same way he came, instead of going up to the next exit and then coming back like I used to do when I drove truck if I missed the turn. He tried to do a U-turn and then get on the shoulder and then go back to get his turn. And when he turned like that, he didn't even look, because there was somebody coming, down the interstate, and 3 people got killed because of it. And they showed the vehicle, and you could see in the mirror they blurred out everything that might look like heads and body parts and blood, but you could see where they hit him, and it just crushed the car. It rocked the trailer. I mean, it was pretty bad. So you never know what people are going to do anymore. I swear people have lost their dang minds, man. But I really wish I'd have got this on the eastern side of Kansas so you could see what it's like here. And then coming out this way on the western part, now I'm kind of going north of Kansas, and the scenery's changed quite a bit. But anyway, I'll keep you posted, or whatever I do with this video series, I don't know. Sometimes when a news story first breaks, they don't have the information quite right. So I looked it up later and found out that this happened in the Florida Turnpike. And what had happened is that this guy from India that's here illegally did a U-turn in an area that's for official use only, which is highly, highly illegal. When I used to, I drove truck over the road for a while years ago, and if you got caught doing a U-turn on the interstate in one of those official use only, especially if you're in a semi, oh man, no mercy. And the fine is something like $1,500. And so this guy, he can't even speak English. They gave him a English proficiency test, which is basically see, spot, run. Dick calls spot. Really basic kid stuff. And he couldn't even read that. Okay, but he came up through Mexico illegally in 2018. He was in California, and ICE put a detainer on him, but Governor Newsom and his left-wing nut job, basically communist type of mentality was like, well, go ahead and let this guy go, give him a driver's license, a CDL no less. And so they turned him loose, and this guy had been driving big trucks for like a year in America. Not only is that annoying because, they gave him, according to Newsom's administration and the other states that do that kind of thing, they do it because they want to be able to let them work. The only thing is that if you're here illegally, you shouldn't have the right to steal a job from an American citizen. And there's a lot of jobs, even here in Middle Tennessee, there's jobs that are really high paying factory jobs that should go to American citizens in this area. And instead, they're hiring people from Mexico and India and whatever that can't even speak English. I know of a number of them that have told me that they're here illegally and they're stealing these high paying jobs. Well, this guy, he's out driving a truck, and they're like, 50 miles north of West Palm Beach. And he decided that he missed his exit. So instead of going up to the next ramp and exiting around the normal way, he just like, and they showed that he had the indoor cam, he had a camera on the inside of the cab showing him and his buddy, and they're like hunda blah 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 whatever back and forth in whatever language they speak in India, and he's not paying attention. He sees the thing and it clearly shows no U-turn, but he didn't even apparently understand that. So he did a U-turn.
And it takes like 55 feet for a truck to even do a U-turn. So as he's trying to do this U-turn, a minivan's coming with a 30-year-old driver and 2 passengers, and he just pulled right in front of them. They couldn't stop, and bam! So those 3 people are dead. Are dead. And his truck, when he did that, it blocked all the northbound lanes, and so he ended up getting arrested, charged with 3 counts of vehicular homicide, some stuff about coming into the country illegally, and some different charges and stuff too. But they found that Newsom had given him a license, and that even though there was a detainer on him from back in like 2018, California let him go, and and now people are dead. It really ticks me off. If you go and look up, like semis, involved in vehicle crashes or whatever, or U-turn accidents or things like that, if you look that up, you're going to be surprised how many of these people are actually from India that can't speak English. They shouldn't even be driving, because you have to speak English to be able to drive a truck, or I think even a regular license. And they're here illegally, and I just don't understand rewarding bad behavior by giving them a job that belongs to American. But anyway, that's kind of what happened there. So thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all, and remember to live your lives with the heart of a Viking warrior. Bye for now.